Now, samahani, Artivism is simply, using art to advocate for social change within the society. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll add social and political change.
I feel nafaa nikuwe kwa opposition kidogo. Like, let's say someone who creates arts for gospel people. What's the social impact is for the people who are gospel, right? So I think it could be even a choice of subject matter. Like, what is the subject matter? What are you making your art? The reason behind your art. So sijui mbona hiyo topic mnaiacha kando ama au wawili point yao mnaidiscard.
Okay, now a follow-up question. Is all art meant for artivism?
Good question. Is all art meant for artivism?
What if I just want to write love poems?
This is what I think. This is what I think. The question, artivism differs from traditional art primarily in its choice of subject matter. I feel we are going back to the previous question where some people probably thought the sculpture of a historical figure is a form of artivism, which in my opinion I don't think it is, because again, as I said, I think there needs to be more context on what that sculpture represents. But when you say intended social impact, I think kuna context hapo hivyo kwa sababu it's more of okay, it doesn't really matter on what that subject matter is, but what are you intending to do with that art?
Maybe let's capture our minds a little bit. For example, when we talk about sculpture, if today a South African lands in Nairobi and looks at the sculpture of Dedan Kimathi or Tomboya or whoever, it will not make sense to that person because that person does not have the backstory. But if South Africans have a sculpture of Nelson Mandela, for example, in Nelson Mandela Airport or wherever, for them, walking in and looking at that sculpture tells a lot because there's a lot of social impact just through that. I think we can maybe limit the conversation in geographical location and in the context in which it is, because there are those that are international and there are those that are just limited. Just the same if we go to the traditional, the likes of Luanda Magere, we go to the Luya Nabongo Mumia, it will be limited in that community in terms of other communities might not appreciate or respect that sculpture or that art. But when the Luyas will see the face of Nabongo Mumia, there's a way they will react. So for me, I can maybe limit it to a people, community, or geographical location. Just my opinion.
Thanks. Very quick one. Taking note of the fact that time is running out. The realm you are taking us into is very interesting. You are talking about context. Yeah. Art acquires meaning based on context. There's something called art for art's sake. I think it's a common phrase. One that emphasizes the intrinsic value of art. A piece of art, it could be a sculpture. There are people, I think what the lady says, what it represents, I would want to add to it and say what it represents and the memories and the emotions it evokes. And that's why he's talking about Nelson Mandela. And you see, Nelson Mandela is not just a historical figure. Nelson Mandela embodies a movement. And so that's Dedan Kimathi. Yeah? So the example that was given, that's what is called abstract art, But when you mentioned historical figure, what makes that person historical? What are those values that we identify with that person that would wish to promote? Because activism, now not activism, activism is about promoting something. And it's about one believing and one going ahead to promote an ideology, a position, what blah, blah, blah. So activism then in that sense is using art to promote an ideology, a belief, you know. So it's not all art that is worth, that fits within art for art's sake. But even those people who collect abstract art are activists in and by themselves. Because why do people collect abstract art, take them to auctions, sell them for millions of dollars? If you got them discussing in a forum like this one, that discussion is so animated. You would wonder, what are these people saying? So there's much more. Opinions will differ in this room, but the essence of art as a tool for social transformation is that it will provoke emotions, it will provoke memories, it will drive an agenda, and therefore seek to change the way things are being done. And the one who don't expect, change them for the better.
I'm going to talk about digital security. What are some of the things we can use to be able to ensure that we are safe online? I think we understand that in this age of increasing use of digital platforms, we must be safe in terms of when we use either our phones or our laptops. What are some of the things you can use to ensure that we are safe from either being hacked, from being surveilled, and other online scams that normally happen? If you are able to take some step, we are able to reduce significantly instances of being maliciously hacked via digital means. So we're going to learn the basic, what are some of the do's and don'ts we can be able to effect, what are some of the things we need to take into consideration when we're using our gadgets to become safe. I think all of us, we are using our phones for activism. If you look at the Gen Z-led protest from last year up to now, I think digital spaces play a very significant role in passing information. That means even if you're using your digital device for activism, chances are somebody may track you based on what you post online. So it is important for us to be able to take into consideration some of the things we can be able to learn, just quick fixes we can be able to use, and then we can be able to be safe. I think there are many instances of scams. Somebody sends you a message that you have won 20,000, and then you thinking that it is that easy, you click on the provided link, and then your account falls to scammers. They start scamming your people in your contact list. So I think this is something that it has been ongoing. It is something that is present. People have lost money through that kind of scam. So I think it is important for us to be able to be safe. How do you recognize that somebody sending you a link is a malicious link? There are things we can be able to use to determine if that is genuine or not genuine. Sawa. So we because of time, I think we are going to just learn the introduction. I think in subsequent session we can be able to dive deep into issues like encryption, issues like use of password managers. But now, in this particular session, we are going to learn the quick fixes, and then I think we can be able to organize for more in-depth discussion on digital security because it is something that is wide. So these particular topics that I'm going to cover, thought in detail, I think this aspect of discussion on digital security is mainly tailored for human rights defenders. You normally do workshop with human rights defenders to be able to be safe. But I think most of us here are human rights defenders by either by design or default. By the virtue of work we do, we are human rights defenders. If you stand up to, if something is happening in your community and you stand up against it, you are a human rights defender. You are promoting the realization of human rights. If you're using a song to be able to rally people to be able to participate effectively, you are a human rights defender by the virtue of work you do. So, so we need to understand the concept of digital security. What is it? What entails? Mobile security. How can we ensure that we use our phone increasingly in the work we do? How do we ensure that our phone is secure? How do we ensure that we are not able to be tracked? I think there had been discussion that those people are being tracked by DCI. It's maybe because of their phone location that they're able to track you using your phone location. So this is a debate that I think we need to discuss. At some point, I think there's blame on the service provider. But it is actually easier. If I can see, if you post on social media that I'm at this place, see, I can be able to know where you are, where you frequent. So even without even using Safaricom, I can be able to know your location very easily because we share our location easily. So I think this is something that we need to discuss and probably learn. And then there's an aspect of computer hygiene and account security. How do we ensure that our computers are able to not be susceptible to virus and other online malware? So some of the things we can be able to use our laptop to ensure that it is clean, secure information. How do you store it? How do you store information? The information is very important if you are able to store it correctly. So I think there's an aspect of ensuring that we are able to store information. And then there's an aspect of secure communication. How do we ensure that we use a secure platform? You want to pass information that you don't want to fall into wrong hands. What are things we can be able to use to ensure that your phone is tracked? If you are able to use some a medium that has end-to-end encryption, for instance, to be able to ensure that you are actually relatively safe when you are communicating, especially when you are communicating sensitive information. And then secure browsing. I think our online habit is quite important in terms of securing ourselves from being hacked. So I think we need to adopt some mechanism to ensure that we are safe when browsing. Sawa sawa? Kuna swali hadi hapo? So what is security in general? Before even we think about digital. What is security? Mtu amesema ni salama, safety. Privacy. Yeah, if you prevent yourself from being harmed, either intentional or not intentional, then that is security. Is free from harm actually. That is security. Sawa sawa. So in digital realms, it means being safe when you're using online. I think also we'll be able to learn about tips of physical security. How can you? What are some of the steps you can use to ensure that you are not to be harmed physically, either being attacked, because they go hand in hand. Somebody can track you via digital platform to be able to get you, either to arrest you, to abduct you, or to harm you. So I think they go hand in hand. How do you ensure that you are safe from digital security, that because it is an enabler for you to be attacked physically? So what are some of the things we can be able to use to ensure that we are able to minimize instances of being attacked or harmed online? So digital security basically, the term security basically means free from intentional harm or danger. So that is, when we say security is free from intentional harm, it has to be intentional. Sawa sawa, somebody deliberately targeting to harm you. So when we say security, that is mean free from intentional harm. So in digital context, it means intentional harm, for example, receiving death threats via SMS, if somebody threatens you, tunakwambia tutakujia or tunakujua. Aspect of cyber bullying. Maybe you are using your platform. I think a good example is that when Boniface Mangi was injured from Tanzania, if you look at the comments section, actually there are a lot of bullying because of the work he does. So I think if you are able to speak against bad governance, you may be bullied. People may actually laugh at you, mock your appearance and any other kind of thing. That is cyberbullying. And then you are being hacked. Somebody is able to take control of your device, either from of a tablet or anything else. You are able to lose sensitive data. You have information, it was corrupted, so you are able to lose that particular data. And then your device may be infected by a malware. A malware is just a software that is malicious. Somebody may send you a link. If you click that, is able to access your data. So malware is just a malicious software that can be able to affect your device. So around the globe, human rights defenders or digital practitioners face this common digital security incident on a daily basis. So people are being bullied every day, people are being hacked, people are being tracked, and it's something that we face, especially now that we have issues of AI. I think it becomes more dangerous. Somebody can actually mimic your voice, and somebody can actually say, you said this. So it's something that is increasingly becoming dangerous. So I think even as we head to election in this country, I think we're going to see a lot of AI and malicious information at play. So I think that is something that we need to look into. So digital security therefore means putting in place a number of appropriate protection measures to protect a device, an HRD, right defender, digital life from an intrusion. So if you are able to protect if you're able to protect yourself from intrusion, either your device or being hacked, that is basically what we mean by digital security. So these are some of the things we can be able to install, quick fixes that we can be able to use to make sure that we are safe online. So what we need to do basically it is to install a malware bytes. This is basically a software that you can free to use. It can be able to ensure that it detects malicious software in your phone. So I think it will be able to protect you considerably. So there are a number of software you can use to actually make you safe online. So I think one of them is Malwarebytes. You can be able to download it in your phone from Play Store. It is able to detect malicious software. You can be able to actually to scan your phone. If there's any malicious software that in form of a virus, it can be able to alert you so that it can be able to sort of delete it. So I think it is a mechanism to can be able to. So I think you can be able to use, if you go to your Play Store, you're able to download it, you can be able to use it to scan your phone. So those who are using computers, they are antivirus. The likes of Kaspersky, Avast. But the nini with Kaspersky is that is something that you must purchase. That is the downside. And they are quite expensive. But I think if you are handling, especially organizations, they can be able to purchase it and then you can be able to use it. So I think they provide security to a certain extent. They are quite actually secure. Kaspersky has been rated by online players that it is actually quite secure in terms of securing your gadget. So I think if you are able to afford it, you are able to install it. But I think Windows 11 actually comes with its own security. That is actually a good thing. I think if you have Windows 11, you may not actually need to have a Kaspersky in place. So I think that Windows, they're actually providing mechanism to protect your device. So you need to install antivirus, Avast, Kaspersky, and the likes. It's quite expensive, but I think for us to be safe, I think it may be important for us to be able to invest in terms of security because it's quite expensive. And then you turn off your Bluetooth device, location, and Wi-Fi. I think most of us, if you look at your phone, your location is on. I think if you are to counter check easy, I think most of our location and balls are on. That is actually a threat to our being tracked. So I think when you're not using your live location, it is important for you to just put it off. When you need maybe to use it, maybe to order Uber or anything that requires your location, you can put it on. So, but when you're not using your phone, it is important that you put your location off. It is something that we can be able to use in our phone. So I think you can check your phone if your device is on. Yes.
Putting off your locations.
Yes?
Like why we should switch off our phone locations. But I think also the same location in case now the phone gets lost. You have to use the location. So how does that?
So it is a necessary evil that we said. If you want to be safe from being actually hacked, because there are a number of available online tools that somebody can track using your location. So I think we have to choose whether to keep our device to ensure it doesn't actually, you don't misplace it, and you being safe from being tracked online. So I think we have to weigh. If the benefits outweighs, the consequences, I think you can be able to see, and then you are able to ensure that you don't have your location on. I don't think most of all, how many times do you lose your phone? It doesn't happen frequently. Sindio? It doesn't happen frequently. And so it is important that because it doesn't happen frequently, putting it on is quite beneficial. Sindio?
So I have got two questions. The first one, I wanted to understand if using cracked softwares like Premiere Pro or Lightroom pose security concern to the user. The second question is, when it comes to putting off your location, I remember last week when we were following up the case of the late Brayo, and there was someone from, I guess, Safaricom. He was asked by the judge about how Brayo was located, and since his phone was off, then I came to realize that even putting off your phone does not exempt you from being located, because if, for example, your phone is on a voicemail, then you switch off your phone, they'll definitely locate you. The first 6 seconds, the CI will locate you. So I wanted to understand if it also works with putting off your location in your phone.
That is quite a good question, huh?
Let me try and answer my brother. What happens? Okay. There's what we call triangulation of a phone. The easier way to avoid that is to not use any Android phone. Any Android phone, it's easy to do triangulation. What we say is that specific number, iko pande gani. So if it's, they're looking for me, that specific number, my number, iko area gani. So they do triangulation. Wanapiga, wanajua iko hapa na hapa na hapa. So they focus on that area. You remember when there was a time, Sijui Marsabit, the youth heckled the president. You remember? So that's what they did. Wanafanya do triangulation, watu wagani walikuwa hapo hizo simu ni ya nani, who are the owners, it's easy to get you. But again, they're also advancing it into the, unaona the simu hii kidogo. Mnitakaje? Yes. I think what? Katululu, sijui mulika mwizi. That one now, you've seen also in movies, eh? They don't, hiyo ndo wanatumiaga, they're not tracked, wanavunja, wanatupa. It is the same thing, but there's also kuna advance ingine inakuja ya kutrack even those katululu. Because as in waves za hii simu ni easier sana because there is internet, there's a lot of things. There's applications which are there, so it's easy to do triangulation. So that's what happened, by the way.
So when you make a phone call, let's say you are using Safaricom line, it communicates to the next tower. So we see these high mast ambazo ziko kila mahali. So when you make a call, it communicates with the tower. And then you are able to call somebody who is somewhere. And then the tower that is nearer, it is able to pick communication. So what they do when they are tracking you, they use the tower that you used to you. So they're able to know you are within this particular radius. But if you are online, you can actually show them exact location. Even if you use your phone currently and you want to track your location, you can able to see where you are. It actually indicates. That is normal Google. That is free to use. What about somebody like government who has invested in tracking mechanism? They have software that can able to track you. So I think that is quite important that you need to learn that. If you are being tracked, they'll use the nearest cell tower. They know you are in this particular location. But then again, if they're able to go back at your history in terms of browsing, they're able to know the exact location. Yeah, so because you normally browse from there, so they know where you are exactly. So they can able to pinpoint to accuracy. They know where you are. So Uh-huh. So there are kuna zile device ambao ukitumia ina mask your location. Kuna vitu zaitwa PVN, Private Virtual Network. It actually doesn't give your location. It actually masks your location. It doesn't give your location. It can even say your location is in Europe. So if you have PVN, you can be able to use it to mask your location. But then again, if DCI goes to Safaricom, VPN, not PVN, Virtual Private Network. Pia niko na adhari ya lugha ya mama, so ni VPN, Virtual Private Network. Sawa. So if let's say for instance they want to access your information legally, let's say you are a suspect. There is a legal way they can use. They can go to court, seek a court order, go to Safaricom, then Safaricom is able to provide them information. That is the legal way that they can able to use it. Sawa. But the illegal way is just they call somebody from Safaricom. Hey, tunataka tusaidie na hii. Because they don't have a court order. And then that somebody share information without availability of a court order. Sawa. And then also, if I want you, for instance, nataka Muppet, sinaenda kwa Safaricom, wananipatia namba ambao wanapigia Muppet, huwa na communicate na nani sana. Anaangalia alafu wewe unakupigia na kwambia mtu fulani, maybe utataka kumpatia kazi. So they don't always kuambia directly ni nani. So wanakuambia huyu mtu ameapply for job, huwa anakaa wapi, nini, vitu kama hizo. And then you're able to give your information. So it is actually easier that way. Social engineering, I can just call somebody and be able to access information via that party. So, and then he asked about software.
Let me say something. What it's very simple. Apart from your phone, they can, if you have a Gmail, there's also a system you need to switch off, because they will know jana ulikuwa wapi na ulikuwa na nani, who was closer to you, the phone number yenye kwa close to you. So huyo jamaa ama huyo msichana whoever ndo atatusaidia kushika bado. You understand? So kuna also a Google, if you have a Gmail account, there are also security features that you need to close again. So that now nobody can track you and know your movement. Ulitoka hapa. Actually, all of us here can be easily tracked using Gmail, your Gmail account. Watajua tu ulikuwa hapa Shizo, ukateremuka, ukaenda pale, ukasimama. So every point, they can easily pick point. So the easier way, there also are Google features that you can also go and switch off for them not to do that tracing also. Yeah.
So the rider is, it is quite difficult for you to, if somebody, for a determined person, if he wants to get you, atakupata tu, tuseme tu hivyo. Sawa. For a determined person, anaweza kupata.
There are about four context issues that are very important. We appreciate that we are faced with threats because of who we are and what we do. The idea of Artivism is to challenge the status quo. So it means there are those who are happy with the status quo, and therefore we are cutting against their grain. So these are the people who would want to get you. Number two, it's not just the phone and the number, but it's how you behave with your phone. Yeah, it's also about you. Yeah, what sides to. It's going to be pretty easy for someone to target you with malware if you watch pornography, for example. It's so easy for someone to know this is, So again, it's who you are and what you do with your behavior, with technology, with your phone. And then number three is how sensitive you are. Inaitwa self. How aware are you about your surroundings? You should be able to know to whom you pose a threat, and therefore know how to behave. So digital security goes hand in hand with the other one that Vincent calls physical security. But more importantly, it starts with you, the person. The phone is innocent until you click the button.
Sawa. I think that is quite important. Kama wewe ni mtu wa kwenda, ukienda place unasema kuwa I'm at this place, una post picture. So it is easier to know where you are because you already provide information easily. Unapiga unasema I'm at this particular place at this particular time. If I intend to track you, I know where you are. Can just come to your place. So I think much of it has to do with our behavior. What amount of information do we post online? Are we restricting information? So that is quite important because it makes us vulnerable. So I think we must be able to know that it is important. Posting less is quite safe nowadays. So our behavior is also can lead us to be tracked. And then,
we are talking about Artivism. We are in Artivism. Like, umeenda maandamano, you don't know where you are, umeficha location, and then umepotea after 3 days. How will these people, not the government, not those people who have abducted you, now us who are close to you, where will we know?
I think in terms of using digital advocacy, because it is a medium for advocacy. So if you are posting less, you're not doing much advocacy. But you can make it impersonal. Don't make it personalized in terms of pictures you post and the location. You can do your activism actually without tagging your location. So you can just post information that can able to help somebody in terms of advocacy. So if you are posting your picture, then it is easier for you, for the person you are, who wants to target you because they already know how you look like. So posting less is quite important. So I think we need to balance. We are using online to as our medium for advocacy. But how do we make it safer in terms of make it impersonal, in terms of don't share personal information that can help you, that can assist the person who wants to track you to get you.
Something happened, yeah? Okay, something happened, yeah? Vile Jema anasema. Kuna msee alikuwa anakuwa tracked, yeah? Then niko kwa shop mahali nakuwa. Kumbe kuna msee anakuja na wasi wawili wakakamwa ati tunatafuta so and so. So mimi I'm like, nani huyu anatafutwa? Alafu naambiwa ako around hapa. Kidogo naona msee mwenye atumia gadget anarudi anasema na amepotea. You see? So kidogo mwenye alikuwa anatafutwa si hawa wanaenda. Namuona anatokea hapo, ni hawa wenye wanakuaga hawa scammers wanetawa, ya? Namuona anatokea. So nikauliza kunaenda aje kaka na nini? So nikamuuliza wasi wanakutafuta na wanakupata aje na wewe pia unarudi unapotea. So ndiye akaniambia the issue of your story location. Akaniambia location yangu nilikuwa on but nikaenda off. So ndio nikarealize his story vina anasema ya turn off location. Wao walikuwa wanatumia that gadget basing on the location. Na kumbe alikuwa nyuma yangu. Unaona duka tuko yeye ako nyuma anapiga bees hapo. Yeah, so
so it is important moving on because of time. I think we need to move on because of time. So stay away from free Wi-Fi if you're using a Wi-Fi.
Okay, when you say the reason to why of us know Bonnie is because he posted a lot. Alijitokeza. Now, when you say, and I think my friend here, ndugu yangu anaitwa Mbwembwe, alikuwa anajaribu kuleta hiyo point, lakini nikaona tena umedeviate. My concern is, with Artivism, I want to advocate about something that I've seen that is wrong. So I need to be bold enough so when you advise me to post less, am I not in that spirit?
So what I normally say is that it is not for the coward. So naona saa zingine we post because tunasema ikue. So we need to balance between the danger and what we need to pass the information. Somebody like Bonis anasemaga ni courage. So he understands the dangers. So naye amesema kuwa kama mbaya. So I think we need also to understand the danger we are facing in. But then again, what makes us safe is the people we have around, our colleagues, their protection mechanism. Every time that Bonnie is arrested, we have people going to the police station to demand his release. So that is a safety net in terms of working with many people. So I think that is quite important. So despite the risk that we have, we need to balance. Not being fearful, but also being cautious. It's about being cautious, but then again continue with your work.
I think also in addition, what you post. If you notice, I think most activists, they post what is relevant to the conversation or the activism they are part of, not their personal life. Like niko home tunachinja kambuzi, you have posted there. Niko na maboys kwa nini? They don't post that.
Yes.
You just stick to when you see something happening, that's what you post, and that's what they keep doing. Yes. Thank you.
That is important.
And also, don't post ukiongea leo na post leo. Also schedule also when you're posting. And remember, unaona kama Muhammad Ali. Remember wakati Jichopevu, when he was releasing that, he was out of the country. Recently, like Larry Madowo, when he posted his video, is in Nigeria. So again, ni muhimu usienda mashamba alafu ndo release ndio wasiku again.
Actually, that is quite important. We normally say that if you are attending a certain event, like you are here today, what if you post 2 days or 2 days later? So you see, if somebody is want to find you physically, you will come to where you say you are, but you are not there. So we encourage people, Pia, online is about interaction. So we don't want to kill that vibe. So people post, naona watu wengi mtu akiwa kwa airport, anapost, ameenda. We don't want actually to restrict people to do that. What if you post later? After a month umeshakuja, you can be able to post it. Because even it is your security. Mimi nikijua kama mimi ni wa neighbor wako, ukipost uko Lagos, si mimi nakuja kwa nyumba yako najua uyuko. So it's so I think it is quite important. It's being strategic in our communication. So moving on, open Wi-Fi is not important. It is not secure. Somebody can track you using that open Wi-Fi. Use your Wi-Fi you can trust. Open Wi-Fi ukienda kama ile Nakuru bila wire, that's an open Wi-Fi. I can use it. With somebody with advanced skill, he can be able to hack your account, he can be able to access your information. So I think it is important to keep away from free Wi-Fi.
I have a question. He mentioned something to do with how you can be tracked using your Gmail account. And you emphasized the need to change some settings. I'm just curious, what kind of settings? Because I probably...
Okay, what I would answer is this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's another training that you are taken by Google,
Yeah.
So that now, kuna settings that you can have simu yako, you switch off your security. Kuna place you can have Google, go to setting, and then unaenda kwa security, you toa hizo za maps, with location, whatever, unazitoa.
Okay.
Apart from your phone location, they can also locate it through your Gmail.
Okay.
So it's a good itaonyesha kando.
Okay.
Also, I need to say this. Posting your families is also another place how you can be caught. So, your family, if you have your wife or your daughter or your girlfriend or boyfriend, avoid. If you are an activist, if you are an activist, yeah? Please keep your family away from your work. So that now cheza chini familia yako wasijue ni nani, and it will also be safer for you and your family, because if they cannot get you, they'll get your family.
So that cannot be overstated, that your connection within your family, if you protect them online, it means that they cannot they cannot be targeted. So it is quite also important. So moving on, because of time, update your all computer software, mobile application. Remember, every time the software company or the mobile company is updating security. So once they do not, normally, if you're using your computer, Windows, they normally update their security because of existing vulnerable spots. So they're able to minimize threats. So I think it is important we keep it up to date because they provide a layer of security. So if your phone, you need to update your software frequently, that is required. And then invest in genuine device with licensed operating system and always update them. So I think genuine device, if you're using the device that is not genuine, it means they don't have security that can provide security for you. So it is important to use a genuine device in your work. Set up a user account password on your computer and protect all your device with strong password. So I think if somebody accesses your phone, is able to go to access your information. So it is important you have either a PIN or any other mechanism that protects you from somebody accessing your device. So it is important to have lock-in, either a PIN or a pattern that you can be able to use to minimize somebody. So when somebody steals your phone, he's not able to access your information. So that is quite important. Then moving on. Yes? So set your device to auto-lock. I think, see, our phone, after some times, it locks itself, sindio? So some of us wanakuwa na 10 minutes. That is quite a long time. Like unaweza wacha simu hapo kwa table, it takes 10 minutes for it to lock itself. That is actually a security risk. So you need to make your timer at least 10 or 30 seconds. So I think that is important. Your laptop also has the same mechanism. You can able to have a timer when the screen is inactive, it actually locks itself. So that is quite important. And one of the shortcut for, let's say I'm typing and I want to go and then to do some kind of errands, I just press Windows plus L button and then you lock that is locks until next time when you're asked to enter your password to be able to access your work. So that is something that you can be able to use. When you're not using your computer, keep it locked. It must have a lock screen and a password. That is something that you can be able to use. And the timer you are using should not be that long. Maybe 10 or 30 seconds is enough for you. So when you leave your phone inactive, it actually locks itself. That is quite important. Avoid plugging into untrusted devices. Let's say you have external hard drive, flash drive, you borrow. You don't know the background information of that particular device you're plugging into your device. So it may have virus in it, so it becomes vulnerable to your device. So I think if you don't trust external hard drive, don't use it in your computer. So it is quite important because if you use something that has a virus, you can be able to lose your information or somebody access your information. So any device that is not trusted, avoid plugging into your device. Beware of shoulder surfers and CCTV camera surveillance. Shoulder surfer is somebody who is near you. So maybe you want to pay. You are in a shop, you want to pay via M-Pesa. Somebody close to you can be able to see your PIN. So make sure that you are able to, somebody is not close to you that can be able to see the information you are entering. That is quite important because somebody can be able to steal your information that way. So it is important that you be aware of your surrounding. Even when there's a CCTV, let's say you are paying in a supermarket and then there's a CCTV, somebody can be able to see what you are typing, and that is actually a security risk. So be aware of your surrounding. If there's a CCTV ahead of you, you are able to ensure that you move away. Always log out of social media accounts and email accounts. Every time, let's say you are using social media, whether X, Facebook, and other accounts, when you are done using it, log out. I know that is actually, in most of us that maybe use, let's say you log into social media always, I don't think most of us log out. We just leave it that way. But that is actually a risk. If I'm able to get hold of your device, I'm able to access your social media account. So even if, let's say you have not logged out, at least have something that protects you from accessing the social media site. You can have a password. There's a number of softwares, a number of applications that you can be able to hide your application that you have in your phone. And then that can make you a little bit secure. But the rule of thumb is every time you are using your account, please log out. Reset device factory resetting before disposing or giving it away. When you want to sell your phone or give it away, just factory reset and you delete all the information that you don't require. Because if you give it that way, somebody access your information. Uninstall apps that you don't use. One of the things that makes your phone to stall is that you have too much application. If you're not using it, why have it in your phone? So you can be able to uninstall the device you don't use. Only download application from official stores, Google Play or App Store. Don't download from unrecognized application software. Sawa? Because you don't know if it is safe. So it is quite important that we use official Play Store to be able to download our application. Sawa, moving on. Actually, I was given 40 minutes, but I have a feeling that I've exceeded the time, but we need to move on. So we need to learn about password and password manager. So I think one of the things that if I get hold of your device and I know a bit information about you, chances are I'll be able to guess the correct password. Kuna wengine wanaweka password 1234. Sitaki kusema ni nani. Kuna wengine wanaweza 00. So 1991, the year of your birth. I can actually go to your Facebook account, know the year you were born, and then I'm able to access. I'm pretty sure there's somebody in this room who uses M-Pesa PIN as the day he was born, the year he was born. I'm pretty sure there's one person in this particular sitting that is using the year of birth as a password as a PIN for your M-Pesa. So it is important that you don't use somebody that can be recognized easily. Let it be strong and long. Sawa sawa? So I think so a password must be strong. So a password is general. What is a password? It's just a string of characters that allows you to access a computer interface or a system. These are the most common passwords ambao ziko kwenye watu wanatumia. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Password, mwingine ameweka password kama password. Mwingine ameweka 1 2 3 4. Mwingine ameandika kweti 1 2 3 4 5. Football another. Here to guess names. So this is not advisable because it is easier to guess. Sawa sawa. It must be strong. It has a string of characters for you to be able to use it. So how do we know that your password is strong? So I think we need to do an exercise first before just a small exercise to see who is courageous enough to show us their password. You don't have to show us, but there's an exercise we want to do. I think when WhatsApp was starting, there was a lot of issues concerning their security. But I think now that they're saying that it is end-to-end encryption, I think it is pretty safe. But there are others like Signal that are actually quite safe because they actually don't provide, their source actually has been tested and found to be a bit secure. So I think there are many other devices that we can be able to use. So we wanted to do an exercise to check if your password is strong enough. So let's see. So I can just invite one person to type your password to see how strong it is. We cannot see it just, so somebody can volunteer. I keep on forgetting that I need to use the microphone. Sawa sawa. So you need to ensure that if you're using a device or service that does not give you a security, like for instance, there is HTTP, sawa sawa, hypertext transfer protocol. It's actually a mechanism when you want to access a website, there's a security mechanism that you are able to use to access a website, to access that particular site. So if you are using an unsecure platform, actually it is vulnerable to, you can be able to be tracked. So ensure every time come on access a site, it is hypertext transfer protocol secure. So it must have an S. Kama ni HTTP peke yake, that is not a secure site. Sawa sawa. Maybe you have shared it to someone. If you share your password, maybe you have written in a piece of paper. So if you have a password and then you have written in a piece of paper, what if somebody is able to get access of that particular paper you have written it on? So that is not a secure way of storing a password. Social engineering. Social engineering is somebody calling you. Si tumekuwa na wale mtu anakuambia umeshinda pesa fulani, sijui unisomee information gani. So somebody is able to trick you to share information. Sawa sawa. That is social engineering. Somebody is tricking you to share information. So somebody may call you pretending from Safaricom and then is able to trick you to share information. So that is where you can lose your information. A device may be physically be accessed and password obtained. When you stayed, log in into account or say remember password. Every time, those who are using Google, especially Google Chrome, when you enter a password, it tells you remember password. That means if I'm able to use your device, I'm just able to log in without actually inputting a password because you have said remember password. Sawa sawa. So it is important that when you are clicking a link, if you are told to remember password, you don't click on that particular site that says you remember password, because it is a vulnerability. A malware, there's a malware. Somebody can install a malware and is able to know the keys you pressed. So, he can able to copy the keys you press. So somebody can able to actually install a malware in your computer. Maybe you share a device, and then he's able to know exactly what you type in terms of using your computer to access. He's able to, that particular malware is able to copy the password. So it is important that we are able to be aware of such. So these are characteristics of a strong password. Complex, it is not easy to guess. 1, 2, 3, 4 is easy to guess. Unique, it is something that maybe it is unique to you. It is not known. Long character, at least 21 characters. So it is deemed to be safe. It is fresh, updated every month. Practical, easy to remember. So there's a trick that it must be strong, but then again, you must be easier to remember. So it may be a phrase that is 21 characters long. Impersonal, it is not something personal to you like your age, the year you are born, where you work, and etc. And then it is secret, don't share it with anyone. So those are elements of a strong password. So because of time, I think I was given like 10 minutes. I'll just share the physical security tips, and then next time we can be able to learn. So I can just move on, and then
to assist me to remember also my password on security password on my WhatsApp. So it also helps me. Nobody can, if someone wants to access my WhatsApp, after 2 to 3 days, they cannot. So it locks it out.
So a two-factor authentication is basically a two-process of accessing your account. So basically it is an account verification process that adds an extra layer of security beyond just entering a password. So you are given, let's say for instance, you want to access your Gmail account, for instance. You have your password correctly. When you enter your password correctly, it sends a message to your phone or any other application. So without that, you cannot be able to enter your account. So let's say you share your password by mistake. Somebody has your password. Let's say has a password for, let's say, a WhatsApp, let's say, Facebook account. So he's able to enter the password. But if you have a two-factor verification, somebody may need to enter another layer of security for you to use your password, for you to enter the account. So it actually helps when maybe somebody knows your password, he's able to do what? He's able to access your account, but without this extra layer of security, he's not able to access your device or your account. So do we have two-factor authentication in our Facebook account? Do we? Nani ana? By show of hands, we can just, ni mtu moja, wapili, watatu. So we can just learn practically how to install two-factor authentication, and then as we wind up, sawa. So I can use my Facebook account to be able to show the process of actually activating two-factor, and then we are, in terms of security, Mozilla Firefox is actually secure than Chrome. So you can be able to use it as your go-to browser. If you are extra cautious, you can use DuckDuckGo. It's actually a browser you can use because it doesn't share your information, like your location. It doesn't actually use cookies and etc. So I think it is important you can be able to use it. So always make sure your browser is connected to a secure with HTTPS. I say that HTTPS is basically an encryption when you enter a website. So HTTPS is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Basically, when you want to access information. If there is no ATS, it's actually not secure. HTTP is not secure. So the one which HTTPS actually is secure. So every time you enter our website, ensure that it is secure, that it has HTTPS. So these things to remember when you are. So there are other ways you can be able to install privacy. There are extensions that you can be able to use. Those who are using Chrome or Google, you can be able to activate HTTPS everywhere. There is unblock origin and privacy badger. This is something that you can be able to download and actually use it as an extra layer of security when you are browsing habits. So when you want to not to be tracked, you can use your incognito or Windows Private. Most of the browsers actually has this particular extension you can be able to use. You can just click on the incognito. It actually makes you safe in terms of what you're browsing. And then when you're logging in, never click remember password. This is something that we need to learn every time. Don't actually click remember password because it actually, somebody can access your account. And then update your browser security every time because it provides an extra layer of security. Clear your browsing habits and history and cookies. It makes you a bit safer online. Sawa. Any other questions? As we wind up, if somebody is able to install a malware, is able to open your camera without you knowing. So there are a number of softwares. With somebody with advanced hacking skills, he actually is able to activate your camera without you knowing. So yes, it is capable. But then again, it takes somebody with certain level of skills. So it is not something that is impossible. It is possible, it can happen.
The one that Wanyama has talked about, camera, all that. So when you accept, before even you go to, when they're saying, they're telling you read terms and conditions, please go and read the terms and conditions before you accept. Because when they say they can hack you, they can do that, and then because of your desperate need money.
So it is actually, it can happen. Somebody with the skills, he can be able to access it. So as you finish, these are physical security tips you need to bear in mind because it actually has a bearing. One of them, secure access control. Use locks. This is in relation to your homes, office. Ensure that they are actually lockable. Because for somebody to access you physically, you need to access to breach either the exit or the entry to be able to get it to you. So use biometric scanners if you are able to. Key cards, they are quite secure. Restrict access to building and offices. If you are an organization, there is need to have a restriction mechanism because that is one way somebody can breach. Surveillance and monitoring. If you have a CCTV, it's actually you can be able to surveil. It's actually a way of a deterrence, and also you can be able to know if somebody is approaching. Emergency preparedness. I cannot be able to stress this enough because in the times you are living in, how can you evacuate? If somebody is able to come to your home, is there an extra exit point that you can be able to escape? I know this may be limited because of where we live, but I think it's something to bear in mind. Is there an emergency exit? Don't enter somewhere where there is no emergency exit. So it is quite important that if you need to evacuate quickly, you need to be emergency prepared to be able to evacuate. Perimeter security is quite important for somebody to access. You need to have adequate lighting, fence or guard. If there are bushes that actually somebody can hide, it is actually a security risk. Ensure it is cleared. And then secure equipment and device. Lock away your laptop and device that you don't want to fall into or to be stolen. Be aware of your surroundings. Every time you walk, you can be able to spot a surveillance. Be actually alert. Be aware of your surroundings. Because if somebody is trailing you, if you are aware, you are able to see if you are not safe. Avoid being predictable. Avoid predictable routine. If I want to get you, I know that you must pass this particular route going home every evening. I can just lay you and then I'm able to get you. So be unpredictable. Avoid having a fixed routine that every time at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. you are heading to home or work. So I'm able to know the time you are leaving, so it is easier to anticipate your movement. So avoid being predictable. There is safety in numbers. As activists, as active private citizens, there is safety in being in a community of people because they are the first line of defense. Sawa. If you are going somewhere risky, be with people. If you are actually accompanied, it is not easier for you to be kidnapped or anything. Sawa. So that is the end of this particular presentation. I think we actually started quite late. I think that is why it is eating into other program. So I think I can allow 2 minutes for question, and then we end. Sindio Yang? Yes, sawa. Okay. So I think I can give you, during question time, you can be able because of time. Sawa. So, but lakini nashukuru sana. We'll be able to engage more. Asanteni.